I want to actually give you guys some actionable steps that you can start to build an unshakable sense of confidence in yourself. So here's 6 pillars that I want you to consider. Confidence starts with seeing yourself and your life clearly. You need to become present and self-aware enough to be able to observe your thoughts, your behaviors, your emotions operating inside of you instead of just being on autopilot. Awareness is the foundation of all change. And unfortunately, when we come into this life, we are not fully self-aware. We're not fully self-reflective. Often we need other people to show us, to mirror us, to help us explore and understand and examine ourselves. And we need to cultivate this as a practice. We need to develop the tools. We need to sharpen that lens. So a good question to ask yourself is, where am I being unconscious in my actions? What can't I understand or see about myself? How can I bring more intention towards that during my days? You might even like to ask the people that are closest to you those questions. Where am I fucking things up? Where am I not seeing myself clearly? What patterns am I, replaying and acting out unconsciously? I've learned so much through my relationship because Natalie and I have a trust between the two of us where we can ask those kind of questions and trust each other to give us an honest answer. It's one of the best things about having a close, intimate relationship is that person is observing you all the time, seeing your behavior, seeing your patterns playing out. And hopefully you have a loving, kind of constructive, growth-oriented relationship. That's so much of what I'm trying to teach you guys because it's one of the most powerful personal growth and development tools. Aside from the fact that it meets so many of our needs in other ways as well. Step 2 is that we want to build and sharpen radical self-acceptance. Because true confidence comes when you can accept yourself fully. That includes your strengths, your flaws, your successes, your mistakes, all of it. We need to stop rejecting parts of ourselves and learn to hold ourselves with compassion. Because it's that acceptance which actually creates the space for transformation. If you can't accept yourself, it's very difficult to move. We need to actually meet ourselves with a compassionate, forgiving sort of love, self-love. And you can try rewriting the script. Instead of telling yourself, I'm not good enough, repeat the mantra of, I accept who I am and I honor where I'm growing. The stories that we tell ourselves are so important. If you keep repeating negative stories, limiting beliefs, you're just, that becomes your reality. Why not tell yourself an empowering story? Step number 3 is owning your responsibility. Confidence really takes, you really need to take full responsibility for your life. Both the good parts of it and the bad parts of it, your wins and your mistakes. That's why I'm an advocate of radical responsibility, because when you stop blaming others or external circumstances, you actually take your power back and reclaim that agency, that efficacy, your ability to actually change things. If you don't take responsibility, you don't have power. You don't have the ability to affect change. And that self-efficacy and your ability to affect change is one of the core pillars of confidence. So we need to claim that. We need to practice that. You know how much stuff I have messed up in my life? Like, I spent years running away from it, pretending, it was because of this or because of that, coming up with reasons and excuses. And at a certain point, I just said, okay, that's not helping. I'm just going to own all the mistakes that I made without making any excuses, without saying, oh, I did this, but it was because of that. Or this person, they told me to do this. It's like, no, I did that shit. I made that choice. That was me, regardless of who influenced me or where my head was at the time or whatever it was. It's so much more empowering to be like, yes, that's something I did. I'm taking responsibility for it and I'm going to use it to empower the change that I need to make. So the action step here is that I want you to reflect on just one area of your life where you've been avoiding taking responsibility and take action on that. Take one action that can help you to take the power back and just own it. Just own it. It's so, so powerful. The next step is speaking and acting your truth. So confidence really, it's about being assertive. Assertive with your goals, your values, your boundaries. It's about saying yes when you actually mean it and no when you have to. Most of my life I've struggled to say no. People pleaser, nice guy, always a yes. Whatever you need, I'll be there for you. I'll do that for you. Yes, please, just do it so you'll like me. That needs to end. That needs to end. We need to actually start embodying your truth, whatever that is, unapologetically. And as you do that, watch how your self-respect grows. Ask yourself, am I honoring my values in my words and my actions? You need to have integrity with yourself, with your own values. The next step is living with purpose and direction. Confidence actually thrives when we know why we're here and where we're going. Without a sense of purpose and direction, we are just a ship on the ocean without sails, at the mercy of the winds and the waves. Compared to when you have a purpose, every action has meaning. Every choice gets filtered through the perspective of what's most important to you. This is why purpose is one of the most important things. We want to have a plan for life. We don't just want to coast through. If you don't have a purpose, you will get assigned one by someone else. You will get given the default map or blueprint that your culture gives you. You'll end up in a boring job that you don't feel inspired by. You'll just do a 9 to 5. You'll get stuck in the wage slave system. You'll have a few kids. You'll save up your money until you die, until you can retire. And then you'll just live on that money until you die. And you miss the opportunity to live for more. You miss the opportunity to truly get in touch with yourself and do something deeply, deeply meaningful that you can be passionate about. If you're going to work for 30 or 40 or 50 years of your life, you may as well figure out what you love doing and pursue that relentlessly. And if you're not there yet, we need to craft a plan to make sure you're stepping in that direction. Be strategic, think big. That's why I'm always zooming out. That's why you see me changing my branding, structuring the vision, thinking 20 years ahead of what I'm going to do with my life. Where do I want to get to? What do I want to look back on my deathbed and see that, wow, what a fucking ride. I want you guys to internalize that. You need to set goals, align them with your values, and then take consistent steps forward. Reflect, ask yourself this question: what do I want to create with my time on earth? What brings the deepest meaning into my life? Put that on a page, screenshot this or pause the video, write that shit down and contemplate for half an hour. Contemplate for an hour. You can contemplate those questions for days, weeks, and months, and keep returning to them again year after year. Like, I'm serious. Do it. Sit down. I know I say this, but I'm sure none of you guys actually take these questions, or very few of you actually take these questions and sit down and journal and contemplate them. But that is where the juice of this kind of content is. You have to do the work. Don't just listen. Don't just mindlessly listen to me talking. Constantly consuming, but never putting the theory into action. That's where the juice is. That's where the real value is. You have to do the work. You have to actually actualize what I'm talking about here. Otherwise, it's just in one ear and out the other. Yes, it still has a value, but only a fraction of the full value that I'm trying to guide you guys towards. The next step is integrity in action. Confidence, your confidence in yourself, it becomes unshakable when your actions match your words, which match your values and your beliefs, and all of that is in alignment. Personal integrity is about becoming someone that you can trust. And I learned this the hard way, because at a certain point in my life, my word it meant nothing. I had lied so much, I had cheated, I had betrayed, I had just created just ridiculous situations in my life with webs of lies that I ended up hating myself because I couldn't trust myself. I didn't believe the bullshit coming out of my mouth. And that's not a nice place to be. And it took the pain of me going into that place to realize, wow, actually, that's why integrity is so important. Because if you don't have it, you don't love yourself. You don't even like yourself. And if you don't like yourself, and if you don't love yourself, no one else will. Or if they do, it's only to a limited degree of what's possible, because you actually get in the way. You constantly shoot yourself in the foot. And that's what I did. I had people who wanted to love me more, but I was fucking it up. So as an exercise for that, identify one small promise you can make and keep. Make that promise with yourself every single day and build trust with yourself first. If that is doing 10 minutes a day of meditation for the next week, start there. If it's going to the gym, every day for the next month, start there. If it's cleaning up your diet and getting rid of junk food, start there. Start small and just start to build momentum. Your word needs to become your bond. And that needs to be in alignment with your actions and your values. Once you have that, fuck, man, like your whole sense of self redefines. And you become deeply integral. And that is like, I feel fulfilled every single day that I live in alignment with myself. I love myself more and more and more all the time, because I know yes, I messed things up. Yes, I made mistakes. Yes, I regret doing certain things in my life, but man, what a lesson. And that has put me on like the good path. And I love how that makes me feel. I walk, down the street, through the forest, with a spring in my step, with my head held high, with a sense of like calm, graceful confidence. Feeling relaxed and capable and empowered within myself, because I've built that. And you need to build that. It will change your life. And you need to do that step by step by step. So those are the 6 key steps that I wanted to offer you guys to help you overcome, wherever you're at with your self-esteem, with your confidence. If you stick to that and start making those steps, in 6 months, you will be completely different. You'll have a completely different sense of self. And I really suggest integrating these into your routines, into your plan. We're coming up on the new year. It's a perfect time to start being a better version of yourself. Don't make silly resolutions that you don't keep. Start embodying the different version of yourself, stepping into the highest version of yourself right now. This next year, it's your year to turn your life around and to really make some bold steps in your character development.